Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Iti piso bhagava araham samma sambuddho vicharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati sattareva manussanam buddho Buddham jivita pariyantam saranam gacchami swakato bhagavata dhammo sannittiko akaliko passiko penaiko paccattam veditam vinyoti dhammam jivita pariyantam saranam gacchami supadipanno bhagavato savaka sangho ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho samiti patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho yatidam cattari purisa yugani atta purisa puggala esa bhagavato savaka sangho ahuniyo bahuniyo dakkiniyo anjali karaniyo anutteram punyakhetam lokassati sangham jivita pariyantam saranam gacchami vandami cetiyam sabbam sabbani supatittitam saririka dhatu mahabodhim buddha rupam sakalam sada ghana sarapadittena di තිලෝක දීපං සම්බුද්ධං පූජයාමි නමෝනුදං ගන්ධ සංඝාර යුත්තේන දූපේනං සුගන්ධිනා පූජයේ පූජනීයං පූජා භාජන මුත්තමං වන්න ගන්ධ ගුණෝපේතං ඒතං කුසුම සංගතින් පූජයාමි මුනින්දස්ස සිරිපාද සරෝරුවේ පූජේමි බුද්ධං කුසුමේන නේන පුඤ්ඤේන නච හෝතු මොක්ඛං පුප්පන්නිලායාති යතායි ධම්මේ කායෝ තථායාති විනාශකාරං අදිවාසේ තුනෝ වන්තේ පානියං උපනාමිතං අනුකම්පන්නුපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු මුත්තම අදිවාසේ තුනෝ වන්තේ ගිලාන පච්චයං ඉමං අනුකම්පන්නුපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු මුත්තම අදිවාසේ තුනෝ වන්තේ සබ්බං සත්තාය පූජිතං අනුකම්පන්නුපාදාය පටිගන්හාතු මුත්තම ඉමිනා පුඤ්ඤ කම්මේන මාමේ බාල සමාගමෝ සතං සමාගමෝ යාව නිපාන සදු සදු සුමිත් හාමුදුරන් වහන්සේ අපි උන්වහන්සේට ආරාධනා කරනවා ධර්ම දේශනාව ආරම්භ කරන්න හැටියට. चक्रवालेषु अत्रा गच्छन्तु देवता सन्धम्मं मुनिराजस् सुनन्तु सग्गमुखदं धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता धम्मश्रवण कालो अयं भदन्ता नमो
tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Yasana bhanti kaye kaya gata sati anupatthitas soidha anyatharang sabrahmacharing asajya appati nissajya charikam pakkameya. Most Venerable Mahasangha, brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, today Los Angeles Buddhist Vihara and the Mahasangha of the temple, along with the devotees, are holding this function with several objectives. We have here with us today Most Venerable Ahangama Sri Dhamma Ram Nayaka Thero, the Chief Sangha Nayaka of Canada and the United States, the Chief Prelate, the Chief Incumbent of Sri Vijayaramaya Bhagavata Sri Lanka and Los Angeles Buddhist Vihara. And today he is celebrating his birthday. So let me at the very outset, together with all of us, wish him long life, of course, over 100 years, and good health, the best of spirit to continue the great service as a missionary monk that he has been doing here in the US. For the benefit of the many, the Buddha has also advised the Mahasangha, his disciples, to go forward for the benefit of the many. He has come to the other side of the earth from Sri Lanka, thousands of miles away, and for 34 years he has been serving for the benefit of the many in this part of the globe. And we are very happy that to see him in such a good health, and he is celebrating the birthday boy, celebrating his 88th birthday. And let's get together and wish him once again with sadhu, 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 for the strength, the blessing of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha to be this great Mahathero, who is actually the senior most Sri Lankan Buddhist monk in the US, and as if I am not mistaken, he has been the second one to come here after Valpada Nayakathero. So, in parallel to this, you and I have been very lucky to be a part of this function, because as per the Buddhist tradition, we have been performing several religious functions already, and this blessed place today, now we are ready to listen to a very important Dhamma discourse. Do you know the topic? Sihanada Sutta. It's not Sihanada, it is Sariputta Sihanada Sutta. Sihanada is lion's roar. Lion's roar by Venerable Sariputta. Do you know who is Sariputta? Venerable Sariputta? Who is Venerable Sariputta? He is the chief disciple of the Buddha. He is the commander-in-chief of the whole large retinue of the brethren, those days. He is the commander-in-chief. And to be assigned with such a responsible post, he has been doing a lot of merits in the samsara. It's not like by giving bribes or something he achieved that. He has been performing lots of religious performances, lots of meritorious activities he has accumulated. That's exactly why he has been assigned with that. And this great Mahat hero, I just went through his character. He's a wonderful person in fact. Do you know how many brothers and sisters of him have entered the order and became Arahant? Okay. In fact, 7 of them. 7 of his brothers and sisters. 4 sisters and 3 brothers have entered the holy order, and all of them achieved Arahant. And surprisingly, the mother was not a Buddhist. She was still with a different religion. And at the end, Venerable Sariputta, just before his passing away, he went to his mother's place and he was able to convince. In fact, the mother was very happy to see lots and lots of devas, deities, coming to pay respect to this great monk, her own son. She was so much impressed by that. Even the Mahabrahma came, the one whom she was respecting so much. And then she thought, okay, my son is much better. He is being respected even by the Mahabrahmas, the king of gods, Sakras, and all the other deities have come here to pay respect to this great monk. Oh, he is my son, my own son. She was so happy and she became a Buddhist. So, it's a wonderful story. So, some of his siblings like Chala, Upachala, Sisupachala, Upasena, and he himself was Sariputta, and the last one was Sariputta. Okay, 7 of them were there. Very interesting character. And in Anguttara Nikaya, the sutta that I was assigned today to talk on is from, this sutta is from Anguttara Nikaya, that is from Sutta Pitaka. This one, in Anguttara Nikaya, we have different sections, what we call Etadagga Pali. There we have 111 sections. There is a statement Etadaggam bhikkave mama savakanam paññāvantānam bhikkhūnam yadidam Sariputta. Among my disciples, Sariputta is the foremost in wisdom. Foremost in wisdom. You know, it's a very unique post. Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta, is the foremost in wisdom, and he is actually a very important character. Buddha, everyone knows Buddha's first sermon, right? What is it? Dhamma Sutta. That is the precise, the very essence of the Buddha Dhamma. And Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta, has preached Satya Vibhanga Sutta. That is a kind of commentary to this great sutta, Dhamma Sutta. The whole thing in detail. If you want to see more details of Dhamma Sutta, better you read Satya Vibhanga Sutta. There you can see lot of details about this. And Anguttara Nikaya, let's come back to Anguttara Nikaya. Anguttara Nikaya comes under the Sutta Pitaka, one of the three Bhaskaras we call Pitakas, Vinaya, Sutta and Abhidhamma. So in Sutta Pitaka we have 5 categories: Digha Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya and Khuddaka Nikaya. In the first Buddhist council, all these Dhamma sections were assigned to several monks, the senior most monks of those days. So Digha Nikaya was naturally given to Venerable Anandavai because he was the memory star. He had the greatest of memories. Okay, so he and his disciples, students, they were assigned to remember the whole Digha Nikaya by heart. Those days they didn't have books, no computers, no iPhones, nothing. So no voice records. So they had to learn everything by heart. And they did it. They did it. And I have fortunately seen some of the monks. Last time when I was in Buddha Gaya, I met several monks from Myanmar, and they remember the whole Buddha Tripitaka Dhamma. Whole Tripitaka Dhamma. They do nothing else but, learning this Dhamma and remembering. And I have seen some of the Brahmins in India who have remembered something like 4,000 Sanskrit sutras. There are people like that. And even in Sri Lanka there are a lot of Buddhist monks, and some of them are very good memory stars. So I think Venerable Ananda was assigned Digha Nikaya, because these are little longer discourses, and then Venerable Sariputta and his disciples were assigned to remember, learn, preserve without any mistake. That's a very responsible role. Without any mistake, And Majjhima Nikaya, middle length sayings, were assigned to him, Venerable Sariputta and his disciples. Anguttara Nikaya was assigned to Anuruddha, Venerable Anuruddha. Do you know Anuruddha? Venerable Anuruddha also is a cousin of the Prince Siddhartha, and he was ordained along with Venerable Ananda, Babu, Kimbila, Devadatta, and all very unique characters. And Venerable Anuruddha also is an important character because he was also ranked foremost among those who had the ability to see things kind of extrasensory perception, divine eye. Okay, he was the foremost among the divine eye people, the monks. And Venerable Anuruddha was also playing an important role during the last part of the Buddha's character, because when the Buddha passed away, he was one of the senior most monks. Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Moggallana and many other monks have passed away. So Venerable Mahakassapa was the senior most, but he was in the forest. So till he came, Venerable Anuruddha was taking care of the whole affairs. He was the monk in charge. So Venerable Anuruddha is the one who was assigned to remember, learn this Anguttara Nikaya by heart. And in Anguttara Nikaya we have something called, it is gradual sayings. Okay, 1 sections, 2 sections, 3 sections, like that. We have different sections up to 11 categories. There are 9,957 whole discourses in the whole Anguttara Nikaya. 9,957 sutras. And here the second section is Sihanada Sutta. Sihanada, as I said, lion's roar. Okay, the story is very interesting. Once the Buddha was, Buddha was dwelling in Savatthi, Jetavana monastery. As you all know, Jetavana monastery was built by those days one of the foremost millionaires, whom we call Anathapindika. Okay, so he built the temple and offered this temple to the Mahasangha, and the Buddha lived most of his training retreats in this temple, this particular temple. And even today, if you visit Jetavana in Savatthi, we see it's not a big, huge monastic complex. It's a very small one, like something like this. I think the Dhamma hall, Dhamma Sabha Mandapa, is not very big. The monks' rooms were not well furnished. They're very, very small rooms, good enough for a monk to, rest. That's it. And the Buddha was having, most of the time, he was meeting the Mahasangha. And they were sitting. And they were sitting and discussing things. And when the Buddha comes, they used to say, we were discussing about this person, that person, because they wanted to know something about that person from the Buddha himself. And most of the time, the discussions were very fruitful. And by the side of him, there was Ananda, Venerable Ananda, who remembered things in one go. He doesn't need to, repeat. If you say once, that's enough for him. He will absorb the whole thing. He will learn things by heart. He had such a super memory. So, Venerable Sariputta was there among this large retinue of monks. Of course, according to the ranks, they were sitting. And Venerable Sariputta said to the Buddha, I have finished my retreat in Jetavana monastery. Now I like to go forward and, wander forth and serve for the public, general, common mass. And the Buddha said, well said, very good, Sariputta, you can go ahead. And the tradition was very unique those days. How they did, they did not sit right in front of the Buddha. They were sitting by the side of the Buddha, just to pay respect. And then Venerable Sariputta saluted the Buddha and he went 3 rounds and then he left. That's how we today also we do it, right? We go to Buddha Gaya, or we go to any stupa or something, or Bodhi tree, we go 3 rounds or whatever, as you wish, and that's how we aspect. So in the sutta, I'm not saying this is said in the sutta only. Sihanada Sutta. Ekan samayam bhagava savatyam virati jetavane anatha pindikassa arame athapo ayasma sariputto yena bhagava tena prasantami. So the Venerable Sariputta approached where the Buddha was. Tulankamitva bhagavantam abhivaditva ekamantam nisidi. By the side of the Buddha he was sitting. Ekamantam nisinoko ayasma sariputto bhagavantam ekadavocha. Having seated, he said to the Buddha, Buddho me bhante savatyam vasavaso ichamaham bhante janapadacharikam pakkamitunti. I would like to go. I have done my many retreats. I would like to go and serve the common people. The Buddha's first advice to the monks was to go forth for the benefit of the many. So that was how the great Dhamma was communicated, transferred and transmitted to so many other people. So after the salutation and all, Venerable Sariputta left and one monk came forward. One monk came forward out of the group and he said, Atapo Bhagava, Atapo Anyataro, Bhikkhu Achirapakkante Ayasmante Sariputte, Bhagavantam Ekadavocha. Ayasma mam bhante Sariputto, Asajja Appatanisajja Charikam Pakkanto. That means, he said, Venerable, it was an accusation. It was an accusation to this great monk. Maybe he was not courageous enough to say things in front of him. So after Venerable Sariputta left, he said with an accusation to this great monk. What did he say? Soon after Venerable Sariputta had gone, a certain bhikkhu said to the Blessed One, Venerable Sir, Venerable Sariputta, having heard me without a reconciliation, has left on to earth. So it's like we were just walking, maybe he has hit him or something. He said, without pardoning, without reconciling, he just left. And this was a very good point. So what happened? It's a very small thing for us, right? So for today, maybe we can say sorry or something and just leave. But Buddha didn't do it. What the Buddha did? Buddha asked a monk, go and ask Venerable Sariputta to come over here. So it's a court now, court session. Okay, and Buddha didn't say, okay, it's okay, don't worry and all. He didn't say anything like that. He said, okay, Venerable monk, go and ask Venerable Sariputta to come over here. And the monk went and asked friend Sariputta, the Buddha has summoned you, please come. Venerable Sariputta came, immediately approached the Buddha, saluted again, and he sat by the side of the Buddha. And the Buddha said, there is an accusation against you. There is an accusation against you. What do you say, Sariputta? The accusation is, you have hurt somebody, a monk, and without reconciling you have left on a tour. That's not good, that's not fair. Especially you, a very kind of role model to the whole, brethren, the whole groups of monks, you are the role model after me, next in line. So, you can do that. Then the Buddha. So, just before that, when Buddha sent the message to Sariputta, Venerable Sariputta, Venerable Muggala and Venerable Ananda also ran to the monastery. They kept on, knocking at the doors of the monks. Come on, monks, there is some drama going on. There is a drama going to happen. You should come and see. Venerable Sariputta is going to have a lion's roar today. Okay, a lion's roar. So all the monks were very enthusiastic. Oh, Venerable Sariputta, everyone knows his aptitude. He knows they know the caliber of Venerable Sariputta. So everyone rushed into the Dhamma hall. It was capacity, fully crowded. So now the court session started. The Buddha, was the judge in the bench, and the Venerable Sariputta started from his side as the person who was accused. And this, I think, is very important to all of us. How the Buddha did the whole thing, and how Venerable Sariputta, cleared himself of all accusation in front of them, without any discrimination whatsoever. Buddha could have easily done, okay, he is my, right hand disciple, I should, be partial to him. He didn't do that. He was very impartial, very, strict, and it was very transparent. The whole thing was seen by everyone. Okay, no behind the doors discussion, nothing. It was really a very unique situation. And Venerable Sariputta started his lion's roar. He said, what did he say? Yassa nuna bhante khaye gata sati anupattita asva. So idha anyata sabrahmacharim asajya appatinisajya charikam vakkameti. This also shows how important is an arahant, the qualities of a great arahant. I would like to share some qualities of an arahant with you before starting. There are 9 qualities of an arahant as mentioned in this Navakanipata itself. You all know, all of you, today also you started taking 5 precepts, right? So one is 9 practices not indulged in by arahants. An arahant does not intentionally take the life of a being. He never takes a life of a being intentionally. Okay, that is one quality. Does not take with the intention of stealing. He does not take anything with the intention of stealing. That is, taking things not given. He doesn't do it. You also promised today, right? How did you say? Panatipata veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. I undertake to observe the precept to abstain from killing living beings. Adinna dana veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. I undertake to observe the precept to taking things not given. And kamesu michchachara veramani sikkhapadan samadhiyami. I undertake to observe the precept to abstain from sexual misconduct. And here, there is a difference. They do not indulge in sexual conduct. Okay, not misconduct. They do not engage in sexual intercourse at all. Arahants, not. And then, fourth one, Musavada Veramani Sikkhapadam Samadhiyami. I undertake to observe the precept to abstain from false speech. And they do not speak what is not true, knowing that it is not true. Knowing that it is not true. So these are very, very beautiful examples. The things that we can adopt for our own life to purify ourselves. And next is, an arahant does not enjoy the pleasures of the senses. He is not biased through favoritism. That's another very important fact. They are not biased, no favoritism whatsoever. And through hatred, through delusion, and through fear, they do not do any kind of bias partiality. So this was a very important law case, court case, those days. So the Venerable Sariputta started his defending like that. How did he say? He said, I am a mindful person. Now we are talking about the mindfulness, right? Today, I think these days many people are talking about mindfulness, and it's very important to all of us. Whether you are a driver or a student or whatsoever, whatever duty you do in your capacity, mindfulness is very, very important. And remember, Arahant's mindfulness is perfect. Perfect. Now, Arahant Sariputta, when he was accused by that monk, he said, Venerable Sir, if mindfulness of the body, in the body, that is kaya gata sati, mindfulness of the body, in the body, was not established, then I would have offended a certain co-associate in the holy life. Co-associate in the holy life means sub-brahmachari, his Dhamma colleagues, Dhamma brothers. Then I would have offended one of my co-associates in the holy life. And without reconciling, I would have left on a tour. He did not say I didn't do it. Okay, that's how it goes. They do not normally say I didn't do it. They defend it in a very unique fashion. And he said, if mindfulness was not established, then I could have offended a co-associate in the holy life, and without reconciling, I would have left on to. That's what he said. And he is also giving a very beautiful example. Venerable Sir, just as the earth accepts the pure and the impure. Earth accepts everything, right? Earth does not reject. You dump a lot of trash, the earth never says, don't put things. I will be dirty. It doesn't say everything is accepted. Right? Things like excreta, urine, saliva, pus, blood, everything, and does not grow or shrink on account. Earth is tremendous. When earth is compared to the enormous patience one could have. If you can be patient as the earth, that's immeasurable. Okay, incomparable. Earth is such a patient entity. And if you can, be like that, like the earth, he says, I'm like the earth. Venerable Sariputta says, I am like the earth. In the same manner, I abide with a mind comparable to earth, made great and immeasurable, without anger or envy. He is so full of compassion. He has no anger, no envy. So Venerable Sariputta says, I am not abiding with all kinds of envy and hatred. So I am also full of mindfulness as an arahant. Okay, the next one, he is giving 9 reasons as to why he is cleared of this accusation. He is not getting angry, and how can you accuse me something like that? He never got angry. He was cool, very calm, and he was explaining the whole thing with such a great compassion. And it was heard, it was witnessed by all the monks. And that's how they learned. This was a very good example. That's how they learned. The second one, also he says again, Venerable Sir, if mindfulness of the body in the body was not established, I would have offended a certain co-associate in the holy life, and without reconciling would have left on the tour. And again he is giving another example. This time, first time you remember the example was earth. This time is water. Water also will accept anything, right? Whatever we do a lot of things, pollution, the water, but the water doesn't get angry. Sometimes it gets like tsunami, but it's nothing to do with this pollution, right? Okay, here, just as the water washes the pure and the impure, excreta, urine, saliva, pus, and blood, and the water does not loathe or shrink on account of it. In the same manner, I abide with the mind comparable to water, made great and immeasurable, without anger or envy. So he goes on to, actually give some example to prove his innocence. And next, now first one is earth, second one is water, the other one is fire. Fire. You know already, Patavi, Apo, Tejo, fire. Fire will also do anything, excreta, urine, saliva, pus and blood, everything, without any discrimination. And Venerable Sariputta says, I am also like that. And then the next one is, what is it? What is the fourth one then? Air, very good. Air, what does the functioning of the air? Blowing, right? The air blows without any discrimination. Okay? When air blows, it doesn't have any kind of discrimination. Pure and impure, excreta, urine, saliva, pus, blood, everything. And he says, keeps on giving this kind of example. There are 9 examples like that. And Venerable Sariputta says, if mindfulness of the body in the body was not established, I would have offended a certain co-associate in the holy life, and without reconciling would have left on a tour. He kept on saying, this is very logical. Just like a lawyer, he was, without changing any word, he used the same thing. And it was how actually the monks were, remembering things. They have that kind of a format, so they could easily remember things. Okay, many repetitions are there in the whole thing. It's easier for us to remember. And what happened at the end? That that monk who was accusing, he could not bear it. He could not hide his guilty consciousness anymore. He came forward and he accepted his fault. He accepted his fault. He said, then that bhikkhu, getting up from his seat and arranging his robe on one shoulder, putting his head at the feet of the Blessed One, said, he just accepted his fault. Pardon me, Venerable Sir. I accused Venerable Sariputta with untruthful, unreal accusation. Untruthful, unreal accusation owing to foolishness and delusion. Okay, how many of us do these things? Just imagine. In our life, we do these things, in small or larger scale, we do these things. And this monk, at least, he accepted his fault. This is still a better one. He is still a better one. And here we have a lot of people today, we do not accept it. We just hide it. We always try to justify our own stance. Okay, I am the correct one, you are wrong. Every time we try to kind of point fingers at the others, not towards ourselves. So this is a very important lesson that we need to learn today. And of course, there is another important reminder that nobody can lie to the Buddha. Nobody can lie to the Buddha. Why? He can see everything. You cannot fool the Buddha. So they did not have the capacity, no one had the capacity, courage to lie to the Buddha. So the monk said, he accepted his fault. And then there is a very important Buddhist tradition, what we call Ayati Samvara. Ayati Samvara, very important. All of us, we need to learn this. Ayati Samvara is future state. Many of us in our life, we repent on our past. How many of us keep repenting? Oh, I have done this thing in the past. Oh, I have done this thing in the past. Every time repenting. Repenting over spilt milk. And sometimes we kind of future dreaming, daydreaming about the future. We do not live at this very moment. This is the problem that many of us have. Either we are repenting of what we have not got. Okay, most of the time. Most of us do not be satisfied with ourselves that what we have got. The beautiful life that we have got. The complete human life that we have got. Most of the time we compare with the others. Oh, I could have got somebody like, something like that. So all the time, most of the time we repent. And Ayati Samvara, sometimes people do wrong things. To err is human. Okay, people make mistakes. That's perfectly alright. So should we repent? Kept on repenting? No, we have to get rid of it. The Buddha said, Ayati Samvara, future restraint. Okay, forget it. Now you have to come to terms with your own, self-restraint. Don't do it anymore, that's it. At least from now onwards you can purify yourself, right? Without repenting on the past. So this is another very important lesson that we need to learn today. Small things can make a big difference in our life sometimes. It can be it can twist the whole course of your life sometimes. So maybe many of us have to figure out our own life and what we have been doing in the past And we have to come to terms with the fact, yes, we are not perfect. So within that imperfection, we have to try to be perfect. Within that limitations that we have, we should try to be perfect. And here, it's a kind of tradition. The monks get together every those days. The monks used to get together twice a month, and they used to, repeat those Vinaya rules, the code of conduct. And before coming to the Vinaya hall, the monks used to purify themselves. They used to say to each other, okay, I have done this thing. So that's how it goes. And they kind of, this is what we call ayati samvara, future restraint. No, I will not do anymore. You do not hide. Most of the time today we have lots of problems, right? PTSD. Yesterday we had a function program in the university on mindfulness for PTSD patients. It was wonderful, very beautiful program, and we find how things happen sometimes to soldiers, to other people, especially in today's world where the people are engaged in lots of rat race, cutthroat competitions, right? So we have lots of stress. The mothers, the fathers, the children, everyone is so full of stress. How to come out of it? Okay. So mindfulness is one very important small step for a long journey, a very successful journey. I'm telling you, you just try it out. Venerable Sariputta said, I'm very confident that I have been maintaining my mindfulness. If you can say it, that would be really wonderful, right? Very wonderful. Try to maintain the mindfulness. One is this mindfulness. The other thing is when we do something wrong, you have to accept it. Yes, I have done it. Once you accept it, you can get out of the tension. You can start the purifying process. Okay, I have done it in the past, I will not do anymore. That's wonderful, right? Just imagine Angulimala, who had killed 999 people, still could attain arhathood. Only after the moment he accepted his fault. And Buddha was a wonderful psychotherapist. His clinical psychiatric capacity was tremendous. He used his power to the maximum and rescued that person who would have been otherwise in the hell for sure for killing so many other people. But Buddha rescued that guy and he became a great Dhamma. And even today, especially the ladies, when they are pregnant, the monks come and bless them with Untitled Sutta. Amazing, isn't it? Can we imagine a person who has killed 999 people still could do such a thing? And we are grateful to him. We remind his name not as a criminal anymore. We do not label him as a criminal anymore. That's really wonderful. So, any of us, none of us is perfect here. None of us is perfect here unless we attain the perfect enlightenment or the Arahanthood or the Pacceka Buddha. So it's fine. We make mistakes in our life. We make mistakes in our life, but then we should remember there is still a way to go, way to correct ourselves. So the Buddha here is giving this great lesson to all of us to correct ourselves, to make our life better and happy and peaceful. And today I think by listening to this Dhamma discourse, you have to make some changes. I can't say this is your problem. Okay, everyone can, have some kind of a retrospection into yourself, insight meditation, think of yourself, try to figure out what's wrong with you. Maybe you can, correct yourself and be a very happy person. That's why we are here, right? Why did we come here? You are all engaged in so much of work, so busy work schedules you have, students or professionals or whatever. You all are very busy, but you have come here. It's a very great investment, very good thing you have done today. And try to figure out your own areas of plus and minus points. And if you can figure out your gray areas, there is still a chance, a very bright chance for all of us to shine. Okay? And remember, there is a Buddha living in you. There is a Buddha living in you. And you are the one to, make him mold into such a perfection one day or the other. So you have to start thinking positively and doing things in the right manner, and then of course you can achieve your goal. Especially as Buddhists, we all know that one day or the other we have to come out of all these sufferings, to eradicate all these sufferings. The only way is to stop birth, right? So for that we have to stop suffering, we have to stop craving, we have to stop birth. Then that is what we call nirvana, the cessation of suffering. I hope maybe you are not able to achieve that kind of a supramundane status right away, but still we should try and never give up. Never give up. You never know. You never know, remember. And you are very fortunate to be born as human beings. Very fortunate indeed. You are not dumb, you are not deaf, you are complete human beings. Very fortunate because of all the beautiful, meritorious activities that you have accumulated in this long samsara. That's why you are so pleasant, you are so beautiful, you are so handsome. That's why you are perfect. Although there are certain imperfections in us, we can rectify those things and believe in yourself and believe in the Dhamma and try to recognize your gray areas and then try to achieve that goal. And I wish with all this great Dhamma learning, you would be able to attain the supreme bliss of Vihara. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Any questions?
I have a question. According to me, you mentioned the Vihara till 999, that he attained Narada, that same life. So he was forbidden part in everything. So that's great. So what happened to the karma?
Okay. All the other rest of the karma will become ahos karma. During his life, he was suffering a lot. Even after attaining arahanthood, sometimes he was walking along the roads people kept on pelting stones at him, and sometimes he was being abused by people, and he had a lot of troubles. And sometimes he comes to the temple with bleeding head. Then Buddha gave him still, he rescued once again. He said, have you killed anyone after attaining Arahanthood, joining this holy life? He said, no, never. Not an ant I have killed. So, there is a greater chance for you. Greater chance for you. Ever since you attained Arahanthood, ever since you joined this holy order, you have not killed any living being. By the grace of this meritorious activity, okay, may this pregnant mother be well and happy. Okay, bless the pregnant mothers like that. And after that, this problem was solved. That's how it goes. So, yeah.
One question. You said that monk accused the Sariputta. I was not clear what was the motivation of that monk.
Well, it was a wrong accusation. He himself, it can happen, right?
Yes.
Sometimes out of jealousy, he said, out of illusion, out of ill will, he did it. Okay.
So it was not that he misunderstood something, or it was. What could he gain?
Very good question. I will come to that point. Venerable Sariputta, when that monk asked pardon from the Buddha, Buddha said, you did the right thing, you accepted your fault. If not, you would be having a very big trouble. Like the Blessed One addressed Venerable Sariputta. Sariputta, pardon this foolish man before his head splits in seven. Because it was a great demerit, otherwise he would gain, So just by accepting his fault and also requesting pardon from Venerable Sariputta, he was rescued.
It could have been it could have been one of the Panchanantarya karma as well?
No.
Not really.
So I mean, so being the second in command,
Yeah.
he could have easily taken the path of being arrogant and denying it. But to me, Sariputta in this case, Venerable Sariputta, shows a tremendous amount of restraint, humbleness, modesty, very unpretentious in addressing this issue against a serious accusation that can destroy his reputation that he has built. So I'm very impressed that how we all can how unpretentious he was, and how he was not very arrogant. He addressed the issue, he did not sweep it under the rug, and how he using the 9 factors, how he did not embarrass the accuser.
Really.
So this is a very good lesson of no matter what is thrown at you, you can handle it with very good character.
That's right. He proved himself to be a role model once again. And remember, Venerable Sariputta, one day he was sweeping the ground, and Venerable Rahula, small man, with Prince Siddhartha's son, he pointed out, Venerable Sariputta, your robe is touching the ground. He said, like, he was not angry. How dare you say that to me? He didn't say that. He was so humble. He respected me. He saluted the great advice that was given to him. So the humility, as you say, is one of the key features characteristic features of this great monk. The more you grow, the more you become flexible on that.
I have another question. I know that sometimes people know that they do mistakes. They know they are kind of mindful, but when they come to addiction, the people are addicted. They can't give it up, but no, they are still there doing mistakes like alcoholism, drugs. So why? How do you, as Buddhists, explain this to get rid of the addiction?
Any addiction can be eradicated. Any addiction. Just imagine this Angolimal. He was criminal. He was insane. He was such an innocent person. His name was Ahinsaka. Ahinsaka means innocent. How did he become an insane? A crazy fellow who went after, even at the end, he followed his mother also. Remember? He was chasing his mother. He would not spare even his mother. He was out of his mind. And Buddha came to rescue him. If he killed his mother, it would have been a different story altogether. So all these things actually, drug addicts or whatever, all these things can be cured. All these things can be cured. PTSD. Now we have, in our university, we have a course called chaplaincy program, where some of the Buddhist preachings are done by the monks. I know some of the monks are working in the US Army, and they are working with the US soldiers. It's very good. And they are addressing a lot of cases like this. A lot of cases are there. It's true, we have to, the Buddhist counseling, Buddhist psychotherapy is very powerful. Very powerful. It can cure anything. And if you know that Angulimala's case, it's a PTSD case. And you remember there is another story, who's that? Patachara's case. How did Buddha, just in two words, everyone was, accusing her, like laughing at her and making fun of her. And when she came to the Buddha and said, just 2 words, dear sister, okay, no. So it can awaken the other person, out of his. When she was out of her mind, she suddenly reminded her, and she came to her consciousness, and so it's possible. Any more questions? Okay, then thank you so much for patiently listening. I hope at least you would have been benefited to a certain extent. I don't know how you came, how you grasped the whole thing, but I thought maybe I tried somehow to convince. And this sutra, I'm telling you, you can go through. This is only one out of the 9,957 sutras. So there are so many other sutras just like this. And it's a wonderful opportunity that the temple here is organizing such a great event to share the Dhamma with all of us. And all of us, by speaking, talking or hearing, listening, we all gain merits and we purify our mind so we can rectify our mistakes. And for arranging the whole thing, let me also give full credit to the Mahasangha here and also the devotees who are working with them. And all of you, may all of you be happy and well, and may long life and good health be with you with the blessings of the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha. May all our departed relatives mothers, fathers, any other parents, relatives, may all of them be happy and peaceful wherever they are. May all of us attain the supreme bliss of Vihara.
පින්වත්නි දැන් පින්වතුන්ට